So for those of you who don't know, early this year I built a kick-ass home theater from scratch with support for 4K HDR as well as Dolby Atmos. The audio part alone cost me over 2 lakh rupees, which is definitely huge money. Or actually just 20% more expensive than the 512GB iPhone 12 Pro Max, right? Anyway, the video really took off and a lot of people wanted cheaper alternatives and tips and guidance on building a home theater, so I made another video on how to set up a true Dolby Atmos system under a lakh. And then I saw some more comments demanding a video on Dolby Atmos under 15,000 rupees. Not gonna lie, I actually thought I'd never be able to make such a video, but here we are. Zebronics has done it. The 9700 Juke Bar is the world's cheapest Dolby Atmos soundbar. The obvious question that follows is it a good Dolby Atmos soundbar or a bad Dolby Atmos soundbar? That's what we're gonna see in this video. And if you decide to buy this or any other soundbar or any other product for that matter, remember there is a huge sale coming on Flipkart, Myntra and many more sites. They are offering huge discounts, and on top of that, if you wanna save even more money, it's easy. Go to the Play Store and download Earnkaro. They are our sponsor for this video, by the way. After signing up, you can start browsing products here or directly on any shopping website or app like Flipkart. Once you choose the product, just copy the link, open Earnkaro, tap Make Links, paste the link and tap here. That's it. Now all you need to do is share the link with your friends and family. If they make the purchase, you get commission. You can check out the profit rates in this tab. As you can see, Earnkaro supports tens of websites. Just go do it right away. The sale is about to start and everyone's gonna shop like anything, so the earnings will be massive. And of course, if you decide to buy the soundbar, you can use my Earnkaro link, which can be found in the description. Anyway, coming back to the soundbar, the Juke Bar's 9700 looks good. It's quite slim, the height is barely 3 inches, and it's about 3 feet wide. To differentiate this from other soundbars, there's a groove on the top and the front running through the entire grille. But guys, come on, let's be honest, every soundbar looks the same. They are all black, they are all long, they all have grills, branding, and yeah, there is a subwoofer as well. On a functional standpoint, we've got 4 buttons on the top and an array of ports on the rear. A USB port, an aux port, 2 HDMI inputs and 1 HDMI ARC output port and an optical port. No RCA connectors, but who really uses them these days? Setting this up is super easy. It takes barely 5 minutes. Connect the power cable first on the soundbar. Next, get the subwoofer. There is already a cable coming out of it. Connect that cable to the subwoofer port on the soundbar. So yes, this is a 100% wired sound system. The only wireless thing about this soundbar is the support for Bluetooth 5.0, which is okay for playing music from your smartphone, but for permanent setup, HDMI or optical cable is a must. It's highly recommended for much better audio quality. Bluetooth is just for convenience, for certain use cases. Anyway, the connection is solid, the range is pretty good thanks to the latest 5.0 version. If you remember, the Bose TV soundbar that I reviewed recently has Bluetooth 4.2 and costs 50% more than this. So yeah, back to the setup. All you need to do here is connect an HDMI cable from the soundbar's HDMI ARC port to the TV's HDMI ARC port. If your TV doesn't have an ARC port, just connect it to the HDMI in. And after this, connect the media player to the soundbar's HDMI in port, which is either HDMI 1 or HDMI 2 port. My media player of choice here is the NVIDIA Shield TV Pro. Of course, you can use something like the Airtel Extreme Box or the Mi TV Stick, but the problem with most of those media players is that they don't support Dolby Atmos. If you want Atmos, you need one of these media players. I think the Fire TV Stick 4K is a great option in terms of value for money. Now, in case you have an Android TV or any smart TV, then you probably won't need a dedicated media player because your TV probably has everything from YouTube and Spotify to Hotstar, Netflix and so on. But again, many TVs don't support Dolby Atmos, especially the more affordable ones. By support, I mean when you play Atmos content on your TV, through Netflix or something, the TV will not pass the Atmos audio to the soundbar. Here is a simple way to find out if your TV has Atmos support. Just go to Netflix and search for Atmos. and you can open any of these titles and check for the Atmos indicator. If you cannot find that indicator, if it says 5.1 or 2.1, then either your TV or media player doesn't support Atmos, or there is also another possibility. You may be using slow HDMI cables. Make sure to use 18 Gbps or 48 Gbps cables. So once you're done with the setup, the next thing you do is, of course, fire up a movie. Here's a list of movies that I highly recommend. They all have really good Atmos mixes. Now, let's first talk about the audio quality. Now, Atmos has nothing to do with the quality itself. Dolby Atmos just decides which speaker should play which audio, which part of the audio. It's actually more like placing various sounds around you. But the quality itself depends on the speaker itself. And let me tell you, this soundbar punches way above its weight. It's extremely powerful. It gets super loud. I think even louder than my 45,000 rupee JBL soundbar. Most of the time for casual usage, I found myself using it at about 30% volume, and during dedicated movie or TV sessions, I raised the volume to about 70%. Beyond that, it just gets too loud. But what surprised me is that I couldn't notice much of a distortion even at 80 to 90% volume. And at 70 to 80%, it's just so good. Some soundbars struggle to play dialogues clearly, but this one does it so well. There's enough depth during fast-paced action scenes. The clarity is great. You know, even when someone in any movie scene murmurs something to themselves, it's still, audible.
Stone Mountain Top in Borneo's highlands was originally formed under the sea.
So there is enough clarity. Okay, by enough, I mean, it's not as good as what I'm used to hearing in my dedicated home theater setup or with my JBL 5.1 soundbar. The audio coming out of the Zebronic soundbar doesn't disturb the neighbors, the bass doesn't rattle the windows, but it's obvious, right? The other two sound systems are much more expensive. The Juke bar, on the other hand, does a reasonably good job at a fraction of the price. The bass is good enough for a medium-sized room. This is a 20 by 12 feet room. I'm sitting around 9 to 10 feet away from the TV, away from the soundbar and the subwoofer. Now, coming to the Dolby Atmos part, you need a minimum of 2 ceiling speakers to actually experience the potential of Atmos. But of course, soundbars don't offer ceiling speakers. Instead, they are installed with upward firing speakers, so the sound bounces off the ceiling and reaches you. At least theoretically, that's how it's supposed to work. On this one, we have 4 front firing speakers and 2 upward firing Atmos speakers. Now, this sound bouncing off walls and ceiling actually depends on multiple other factors, but for the most part, you won't really hear audio from any direction where there is no physical speaker. Surround sound is just okay. The upward firing speakers do a decent job of throwing some of the sound above, but the channel separation is far from perfect. Like while watching an Atmos movie, you're supposed to hear certain sounds from here, certain sounds from here, certain sounds from here. So that kind of accuracy cannot be experienced here. But that's actually the case with most Dolby Atmos soundbars. I'll come to that in a minute. However, the experience is still immersive to an extent. Some scenes where bullets fly around along with fast-paced action sequences are really enjoyable. It fills the room with sound, and the sound effects are decent. Of course, with a pair of rear or surround speakers, the experience will be a lot better, especially for these kind of movies with a lot of sound effects, and action scenes. Actually, even Zebronics' own 9400 Pro soundbar comes with a pair of rear speakers. It's also cheaper, so I'm not sure why they didn't include them with this model. There is this particular opening scene in Hacksaw Ridge movie where you can see choppers flying around, and in my home theater, I could actually feel them flying above me. Whether it's going from here to here or here to here, I could easily sense it. But guys, that's because there are 4 dedicated ceiling speakers. Over here, there are 2 upward firing speakers, and there is only so much they can do. And it's not just this soundbar. In fact, in Samsung's 43,000 rupee Dolby Atmos soundbar, there are only 3 channels, and it uses some sort of audio reflecting or redirecting technology to, redirect the sound towards the ceiling. I think it doesn't even have true upward firing speakers. And that's the case with many Dolby Atmos soundbars here. I also tried Sony's 3.1.2 soundbar, which is much more expensive than the Zebronics one. The quality was, much better, obviously. But in terms of Dolby Atmos, in terms of the sound effects, it was pretty much the same. I couldn't really, sense any sound coming from anywhere apart from the front. So it's almost impossible to actually experience the true power, the true potential of Dolby Atmos unless you actually place some speakers above you and behind you or next to you. You cannot possibly hear sound from a direction where there is no speaker. I'm talking about average case scenario here practically. So the bad news is, if you want to experience true Dolby Atmos, no soundbar can help you with that right now. You have to get a proper system in place. If you want to experience true surround sound, at least, you have to find a sound system with dedicated surround speakers or rear speakers. But the good news about this particular soundbar is it's still noticeably better than a typical 2.1 or a 5.1 soundbar in terms of the effects. The level of immersion is just so good. You do get that theater experience to some extent at 18,000 rupees. That's the most important part. So that's pretty much it. Do let me know if you found this video useful. If there is any other soundbar you want me to test, let me know in the comment section. And don't forget to check out our sponsor, EarnKaro, link in the description. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Take care and bye.